Girasol, haven't you joined the Sunflower Club yet? You're missing out there. I make exclusive predictions, drop predictions, and well, they're pretty hot. Everyone who subscribes to the Sunflower Club gets a 20% discount on everything Cigano offers. 20% off consultations and yes, priority scheduling. 20% off signature analysis and on light mandalas. And you have access to another ritual that I only do for those who are part of the Sunflower Club. No censorship, no ads. And you really stay ahead with predictions for Brazil and the world. So, I'll be waiting for you in the Sunflower Club and you really will be surprised.
Yes.
If you've ever thought about doing a love binding or even looked for someone to do it for you, I need you to listen to this very carefully because what I'm about to tell you is not what you're expecting to hear. Most people come to me desperate, wanting to bring someone back, wanting to be loved at any cost, wanting to feel like they have control over the other person. But is there someone? There is a truth that nobody tells you, and that can completely change the course of your life. The problem doesn't start when the person leaves. The problem starts when you try to force something that wasn't meant to be yours. And it's exactly here that a lot of people end up making one of the biggest mistakes of their lives. Today, I'm going to clearly explain to you what really happens when someone decides to do a love binding spell. And most importantly, why this can turn against you in a way you can't even imagine.
Yes, that person you like, the one you would do anything for, but who doesn't pay any attention to you, and what then? So you want to do a binding spell, you want to cast a spell to keep this person in your life, to tie them to your life, to make them a kind of slave to you. Sulamita, wouldn't that be it?
So what is it then?
Well, I'm going to ask you to get a pencil and paper. I'll even give you a little time to write down the materials, the ingredients we're going to use in this love binding. I'll wait a little bit. Meanwhile, while some of you get paper, pencil, or pen, I'm going to make a quick announcement here. For those who want a private consultation, the WhatsApp contact is listed here in the video. Guys, for those who want a private consultation, because I get an average of 200 to 300 messages on WhatsApp per day, and I can't attend to everyone, I can't reply to everyone. So I ask those of you who would like to, who want to suggest videos, to please leave your suggestions here in the comments. Whoever needs a private consultation, contact me on WhatsApp, okay? So, have you already grabbed paper and pen or pencil, pen and paper? So, fortune teller, what do I need to do a love binding spell? To bring that person to my feet, swearing eternal love, sweet like mine, wanting only me, nothing but me, not seeing anything else in front of them. Are you ready? Write it down! A good dose. A good dose. It can't be tiny. That's a tough ingredient, huh? And it's an ingredient that not just anyone will be able to get. That will be able to get it, but you'll need a good dose. A good dose of self-love. What did you think I was going to tell you to use? A black chicken? Guys, I actually came here to talk about love binding spells. Its effects? This table is shaking today. Its effects and consequences. For anyone who does it. For those who have been watching my videos, who have been following me since I created this channel, and this channel was created with the purpose of bringing light, truth, and clarification to all of you. You know that I am absolutely against love-binding ritual. I am the first psychic who comes here, puts herself on the line, and talks about cases that no one has solved until today. I am the first psychic who comes here and puts herself out there, maybe just to tell you the truth about the consequences of a love-binding spell. About what you are doing to your life. Ah, but my gypsy, I know this woman, that woman, and the other one who did it, and it worked. Did it really? Did it really work out? Or is she just keeping up appearances? She posts photos on social media smiling, but inside she's taking the strongest medications just to be able to stand. I am Sulamita. I perform several rituals, all within the Gypsy life tradition. And in the rituals I perform, only flowers, fresh fruits, honey, candles, stones, and nothing beyond that are used. When you contact someone to do a love-binding ritual for you, first an animal is used. A chicken, a goat, it could be a pig, it could be a dog, it could be a cat. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, domestic animals are also used for love-binding rituals, right? And that animal suffers. Or do you think it's killed with care? And this animal's blood is offered, it's used as an offering to harmful spirits who will then have the obligation, let's say, to unite the two of you, right? That's it. Para uma reação dar certo, the person has to be on the same level of energetic frequency. That's why for some people it seems to work, and for others it has no effect at all. Why? The more spiritually elevated a person is, the more good thoughts, the more good actions. I'm not here to preach kindness to anyone, but I'm here to tell the truth. Doing a binding spell is like shooting yourself in the foot. People who seek out someone to do a binding spell have no idea how dangerous a love binding spell can be for their life. Continue. The blood of this animal is offered. The suffering of this animal stayed in the astral realm, and we are talking about energy. Yes. If a person has a good energetic frequency, good thoughts, good actions, is a correct, honest, and good person, it doesn't affect them. It doesn't affect them. It doesn't affect them. If it were like that, I'd be 6 feet under. It doesn't affect them. No spell affects a person who has a good energy frequency. Do you understand? What happens? Where do you think these harmful spirits go? In both cases, they always go. Even if some effect happens to the person who was targeted. You're the one who gets hurt the most. You will start having headaches. Your finances will be set back. You will be bound to this person even if they are not bound to you. That's what I mean by sabotaging myself. That's what I mean by shooting myself in the foot. You're going to be trapped by the very binding you created. Because of an energy-related mistake. Because of an energy mistake. And then it's going to be really hard to give up, to undo this. For many years, your life goes backwards. A job that doesn't go anywhere. Your financial life isn't progressing. You start to suffer from depression, mental illnesses of all kinds, depression, panic disorder. In other words, nothing in your life moves forward because the spirits who receive the offering are with you. You understand, right? So guys, there is a sweetening ritual. Sweetening. It's done when the couple is already together, but the marriage is kind of bland. Also, right? It's different. É diferente. You take someone who is already with you, whether you're in a serious relationship or married, and do a gypsy sweetening ritual to make them a little bit sweeter. It's different from bringing someone against their will. Remember that our Creator, the Father in heaven, I always say this, gave each of us free will. And not even He interferes with that free will. So do you really think you have that right? Do you really think that by trying to do a binding spell on someone and bringing them back against their will, instead of trying to win them over, bringing them back against their will, messing with their free will? This also applies to those who try to break up couples. Oh, a lot of people come to me, and I get really angry when someone comes to me for that. I dislike feeling angry because it lowers my vibration. Oh, I want to break up a couple. You can't find someone for yourself, so you try to ruin someone else's relationship. How do you expect to be happy like that? So that's what the gypsy came here to say today. That's exactly what Sulamita came to talk about self-love. There is a seduction ritual. I make the woman bring out her sensuality from the inside out. Like a sweetening ritual. And just like there's also your self-love. I wouldn't want to have a man at my feet, bound to me by a spell. Or do you think the gypsy has never been in love with someone who didn't feel the same way? It's happened to me too. It wasn't meant for me. Do you understand the difference? There's someone for everyone. But if you bring someone to you against their will, the consequences are terrible. We are talking about physical illnesses, about persecution, obsessing spirits. Obsessing spirits. Because they are never alone. They always come in phalanxes. And they will destroy your life. All because you want some woman or some man. Even against that person's will. I wouldn't want to have someone at my feet next to me. Bound. Because that person will never be loving. That person will never want to win me over every day. Yes, because in a relationship there has to be reciprocity. A relationship is like a plant. Every day you have to water it a little so it doesn't die. So it can bloom. That's the foundation of a relationship. I wouldn't want someone just treating me badly. Someone being with me but not being happy. You can see on their face that they're sad. Is that what you want for yourself? Is that what you came looking for in this video? A powerful binding spell to trap someone against their will? You? Oh no, I'm sure you're so much more than that. I'm sure your self-worth is worth so much more than forcing someone to come to you. The astral plane always has someone meant for us. We need to improve our energy. We need to improve our way of thinking. We need to improve our hearts. And when the time is right, the gift will come to us. In a natural way, in a subtle way. And it will do tremendous good for the heart. So that's it, my loves. No one you go to for a love-binding spell will tell you the truth. You'll be shooting yourself in the foot and with a shotgun. The consequences are terrible. Never look for this kind of work. Besides, you'll be responsible for the death of an innocent animal that has nothing to do with it. You will also attract a host of harmful spirits that will destroy your life. And you won't be happy. So seek happiness from within. First me, second me, third me. I always say that in my sessions. Put yourself first, value yourself first, love yourself first. you can be sure that each person will attract and have by their side exactly the value they give themselves.
Now I need you to understand one thing, and maybe this is the hardest part to accept. When someone decides to do a love binding spell, the problem doesn't start afterwards. It starts the very moment you make that decision. Because at that moment, you stop trusting life, you stop trusting the timing of things, and you try to take control of something that isn't yours. That's when it all falls apart. At first, it might even seem like it worked out. The person starts texting, shows up out of nowhere, becomes more present, and anyone watching from the outside thinks it worked. But what no one sees is what starts to form behind all of this. The energy of the relationship changes. It's not light anymore. It's not natural anymore. That spontaneous exchange is gone. It feels heavy. It's like something is always forcing the situation. It's like nothing really flows, and over time that starts to show. Arguments for no reason, constant irritation, a kind of wear and tear that you can't explain, and then comes that strange feeling. You got what you wanted, but you don't feel at peace, and that confuses you. Because in your mind you fought so hard for all of that to have that person, but deep down something just doesn't fit. And that's exactly when many people start to realize that maybe they messed with something they didn't understand. It's not about punishment. It's not about punishment. It's about consequences. When you force something to exist, you also force everything that comes with it. And what comes with it isn't always what you wanted to experience, I mean. And over time, these consequences stop being something subtle and start to show up more clearly in your life. But the most curious thing is that a lot of people go through this and don't realize what's happening. The person starts to feel an attachment that's out of the ordinary. It's no longer longing, it's no longer affection, it's like a need. It's something that holds you, that pulls you, that doesn't let you walk away, even when you try. And that starts to affect other areas of your life. You lose focus, your energy drops, your mood changes. There are days when you wake up tired even though you've slept. There are days when your mind won't stop, thinking about the same person all the time, reliving situations, creating scenarios. And deep down you know that's not healthy, but even so you can't break free, and that's one of the clearest signs. When something needs to be forced to continue, it's not because it's strong, it's because it's not natural. Another thing that many people report, but almost no one talks about openly, is having repetitive dreams about the same person with confusing situations. Sometimes they're even disturbing, and you wake up with that strange feeling as if you haven't really rested. And it doesn't stop there. The relationship itself starts to show cracks. The person might even be close, but they seem distant. They might even say they care, but they don't really show it. And that starts creating an emptiness, because deep down you realize that's not love freely given, it's something trapped. And the more time goes by, the harder it gets to get out of it, because it's not just a feeling, it's like there's a bond holding you there. And it's at this point that many people start to ask themselves, what have I done to myself? And it's exactly at this point, when everything starts to feel heavy, that one of the biggest shifts in awareness happens. Because up until now, most people believe that the problem lies with someone else. Oh, the person changed, the relationship cooled off, something happened. But almost never does the person look at the origin of all this, the decision, the attempt to control, the thing that never came alone. And I know this might hurt a little to hear, but it's necessary. The problem was never the person. It was never the fact that they left or didn't choose you. The problem starts when you believe you need to force someone to stay in order to feel complete. Because when you get to that place, you automatically put yourself below. You make yourself smaller. You say it anyway, even without realizing it. I need to do something extreme for someone to love me. And that completely breaks the balance. Because true love doesn't come from lack, it comes from connection. And when there is lack, what is created is not love, it's dependence, it's attachment, it's fear of losing, even before you have it. And that's why even when the person stays, you don't feel secure, you don't feel at peace. Because deep down there's a silent awareness inside, knowing that it didn't happen naturally, and that slowly consumes you. You start questioning yourself more, doubting more, feeling more insecure. And what was supposed to fill you up starts to empty you even more, because no relationship can sustain something that was built on a problem, on an imbalance. And this is the part that almost no one talks about. It's not about whether it worked out or not. It's about the kind of energy you put in to sustain that. And energy always takes its toll sooner or later. And when the person starts to realize all of this, another moment comes which isn't easy either. The moment to look at your own life and realize that maybe you went too far for someone. And it's not about blame, it's not about judging or condemning yourself for what you did. It's about awareness, because from the moment you see it, you have a choice. You can remain trapped in this cycle, trying to fix something that was already born unbalanced, or you can start to free yourself from it. And liberation doesn't happen overnight. It's not simply forgetting the person or pretending nothing happened. It's a process. First, it's about creating inner distance, about stopping feeding it with your thoughts all the time, about stopping living your life for someone else. Then comes the recovery, reclaiming your energy, reclaiming your attention, reclaiming your self-worth. Because when you attach yourself to someone like that, you abandon yourself, and that needs to be rebuilt little by little. Going back to doing things you enjoy, going back to listening to yourself, going back to prioritizing yourself. And at first it feels strange, because you got used to putting the other person at the center. But over time, you start to notice something different. Your mind calms down. The weight lessens. The dependency starts to weaken. And what seemed impossible starts to lose its strength. And then comes a very strong realization. You didn't need that person attached to you. You just needed not to be attached to them. And that changes everything, because when you reposition yourself, when you come back to yourself, life starts to fall back into place. New possibilities appear, new connections arise. And most importantly, you stop accepting just anything, just so you won't be alone. And that's the point where everything truly starts to change. Not on the outside, but inside. And after all that, maybe you're starting to see things more clearly. Not about the other person, but about yourself. About how much of yourself you were willing to give up, to try to live something that deep down was never easy from the start. And I'm not here to judge you, quite the opposite. I know that when we like someone, when we really get involved, we do things that from the outside don't even seem to make sense. But there's a big difference between loving and losing yourself trying to be loved. And maybe that's the most important reflection of all. You don't have to force anyone to stay in your life. You don't have to trap, control, or fight against everything. for someone to choose you. Because when it's real, it doesn't require effort at that level. It doesn't require constant pain. It doesn't require constant doubt. It doesn't require you to diminish yourself. What is real flows. There can be challenges, there can be phases, but there is peace. There's give and take. There is true presence. And if that's not happening, maybe it's not because you did too little. Maybe it's because it was never meant to be. And accepting that, as hard as it may seem, is what sets you free. It sets you free to experience something lighter, more reciprocal, more genuine. So before you try to bring someone back, ask yourself honestly, would that really make me happy? Or would it just fill a void for a while? Because what you're looking for isn't in someone else. It's in the way you see yourself and in the value you place on yourself. And when that changes, everything changes. If this kind of reflection made sense to you, and you want to understand these issues more deeply about energy, relationships, and everything that involves this kind of situation, over at the Sunflower Club, I go much deeper into these topics in a way that I can't really get into here. But regardless, no matter what, start with yourself always.